Oh, this has been an amazing experience. As a third-party testing arm of the profession, I think it's important for us to be here and hear firsthand the trends and the developments in the education process, what the education landscape currently looks like and where it's moving, so that we can be prepared to adjust to those trends and changes in the education. I think the event is always memorable. I get to come and see old friends that I don't get to see very often, and of course meet new friends. The connections that you make here are invaluable because you can take the information that you get here, but then there's always that continued conversation, that continued follow-up and dialogue with your colleagues here to help us move forward.
Well, my experience at the WFC Education Conference here in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia was fantastic. Not only did we have international speakers and experts from around the world talking about education, what was more important was to meet the students and the doctors of Malaysia, to visit the medical school, IMU, International Medical University, and see the quality education that the chiropractors in Malaysia are providing and how they're learning to provide the best possible care, not just for the patients in Malaysia, but to help change chiropractic around the world and their contributions to research. In fact, I was a little bit envious about the anatomy lab and the anatomy museum. Took lots of pictures, bringing lots of ideas to bring back to Parker University so we can implement them there. What made the event most memorable for me was the interaction with the students. The students from IMU were fantastic. They're so professional, so courteous, so knowledgeable, and it really gave me great hope for the future of chiropractic around the world and particularly in Asia.
My experience has just been fantastic. It has been, I've seen so many individuals from all around the world, the 7 world regions of the World Federation of Chiropractic. It's been wonderful seeing them interact with one another. Such just expertise from all areas of the world, and also bringing with that expertise different opinions, and those opinions being just collectively absorbed with one another, learned from one another, discussed in a friendly manner with one another, and it's just been really enlightening to be able to watch all these experts interact in such a wonderful way that really embraces the culture of the WFC. What made the event memorable was the fact that really the IMU tour, I'd have to say. It brought to life everything that we've been talking about. So one, we're able to come to Malaysia, and we're able to, a lot of us individuals who've never had the opportunity to come to this area, we're able to actually see the culture of the area, see the technology in the area, talk about all of the advancements within the field of chiropractic, within technology, within education, and then actually going to an institution that is embodying that, and really seeing that portion was really insightful in this trip. The other thing, I know I am only supposedly limited to one, but the second thing I really appreciated was just the students. Actually, the students were just so helpful. So if we needed anything, a student was there, and they were there to help us in just such a friendly manner and an efficient way. And it's just enlightening to see the next generation be so driven to help others and support others.
It was a wonderful experience, much more meaningful than I ever anticipated. I'm leaving feeling inspired and hopeful for the future of chiropractic education. And that hopeful part is probably the most important, because I heard from people all around the globe who are really dedicated and making advances so that we graduate high quality chiropractors to serve our communities. And that's really the core mission of it all. So I am really energized, excited, inspired by the conference. You know, for me, of course, it was the people. I got to have conversations, and I love the sessions where I got to talk with a small group or one-on-one with people and learn about the challenges in their country, the hopes in their country, in their academic programs, the solutions they've carved. I learned so much that I could take home for my school about perspective, but also about tools that people are using to help mitigate some of the various risks in various locations. It was really the people. They're really amazing, inspiring people.
I'd be happy to. My experience was overwhelmingly positive. It was a great chance to come together with essentially 100 different educators from throughout the world and reflect on emerging technologies and concepts that are going to improve chiropractic education and the profession generally. So I enjoyed my time interacting with colleagues and attending some really outstanding presentations. What made it memorable, I think, is really the focus on technology, the forefront of education, and what's emerging, what's new. And so it was very, very refreshing because every speaker brought a new and different perspective, but it all surrounded what the group appreciated at the end, which was a consensus on how these technologies can improve education for students and ultimately the competency of how those students will go forward into practice. So it was really an awesome experience to bring that all together.
It's been a wonderful experience. It's been my first time to Kuala Lumpur and therefore my first time also to IMU University. And we were fortunate enough to be able to spend a whole day on Tuesday before the conference being hosted at IMU University, which was an excellent experience to see, meet the staff and the people there responsible for the program, and also the facilities from a point of view have been quite impressive, the facilities there. For the wider conference, it's been an excellent location for the conference, and I've enjoyed being able to stay at a hotel that's connected to the convention centre, the services, and being able to experience a different culture and different foods have been a very positive experience and certainly well worthwhile, and one that we would certainly not miss the opportunity so close to home. Being from Australia, this has been a simple direct flight for us, as opposed to most other conferences that are on the other side of the world. The content, I am not an education provider. I represent accreditation authorities from the Council on Chiropractic Education International. So whereas we don't have direct input anymore into what necessarily a program will teach, we have moved to output competencies programs, but it's interesting for me to see what programs we'll be moving to with their delivery, because eventually we will have to accredit that as accreditors. So to be here and see what the different programs are considering to do in the way of simulation and to a degree of AI as well, in that these are things that we will increasingly see come through in education. It's moving very quickly in that direction. So the highlight for me is to be able to think proactively about how we will look at accreditation standards to embrace these new technologies.